Today at Manchester Theatres, I am honoured to be talking with Francesca Harper, who is a renowned dancer, choreographer, and educator. And she is also artistic director of the dance company Ailey 2, who are bringing their mixed programme to the Lowry on the 13th and 14th of October. We're very excited. Francesca has done so many things. There's no way I'm going to be able to list them all. But just to give you a snippet, she has been principal dancer for the William Forsythe Company. She has been the ballet consultant on the film Black Swan, starring Natalie Portman. She's been a dancer on the hit show Boardwalk Empire, has founded the Francesca Harper non-profit dance company, won a Living History Award, and on top of all of that, being on Oprah, as you do. There are so many things. So thank you so much for chatting with us today, Francesca. We can't wait to hear all about this show.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really exciting to be back in my old stomping ground back in Europe. I was lived here for almost 10 years, so it's really lovely to be back here.
Oh, well, we're very, very happy that you're coming back, particularly with Ailey 2, the mixed dance program. So this is a celebration, isn't it, of 50 years?
It is 50 years. Yes, Ailey 2 was founded in 1974, and it embodies its pioneering mission to establish an extended cultural community. This was Alvin's dream. In 1974, he appointed Sylvia Waters as the first artistic director, and we have been continuing the legacy ever since.
And so it's kind of four different the program that you bring in, it's four different pieces, isn't it? Like excerpts from them. So can you tell us a little bit about those four dances?
Absolutely. The first piece is entitled Enemy in the Figure. And as you know, as you mentioned, I danced with the Frankfurt Ballet under the direction of William Forsythe. And it was really important my first year to bring one of his works into our inauguration. So we're bringing Enemy in the Figure that was choreographed in 1989. And it was really created. It has this, Tom Willems composed the score, and it has this percussive and rhythmically driving electronic score, which was really, I think, also the source of the work's choreographic invention. And it really was influenced by the radical use of light and shadow in the original stage design, but also as a metaphor in the dancers. You see the dancers kind of playing with the shadows or fighting the shadows that live within themselves and transcending them. And it's really a work that will leave you on the edge of your seat. It's a very exciting work and invigorating work. The second work is entitled Freedom Series, and it was the piece I created as my inauguration as artistic director in 2021. And it travels through a landscape of memories, creating a series of vignettes that for me embody and imagine a hybrid world where memory strives to influence the future. And it really was very much inspired by Afrofuturism, and it's depicted through this futuristic lens, has a sense of where we're projecting we might be in the next century or so. And then I think ultimately examines the themes of identity and community. The third piece is entitled The Hunt, and it was created by the artistic director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Robert Battle. And it's a very athletic work that, for me, reveals the predatory side of human nature and the primitive thrill of the hunt. It's a score, again, a percussive score with a soundtrack by late Tambour du Bronx. And it drives the explosive movement that runs the gamut from modern sports to the ritual of gladiators. And the thing that's very special about our version of The Hunt is we are the first company in the Ailey organization to have an all-female cast. It was originally choreographed only for men. So we alternate between our male identifying cast and our female identifying cast. And it's really an exciting work. Another one that will leave you on the edge of your seat if you come see us. and then we have, of course, our signature, the masterpiece, Revelations, that was created by Alvin Ailey, choreographed by Alvin Ailey in 1960. And it is really his blood memories that he shares. It is the work that has consistently enraptured audiences all over the world with its perfect blend of reverent grace and spiritual elation. And this masterpiece, as I call it, pays homage and reflects the cultural heritage of the African American community. And one of my favorite quotes about Revelations is it's sometimes sorrowful, sometimes jubilant, but always hopeful. And it's been really wonderful bringing it to the UK. The audience has been up on their feet, cheering and dancing with us in the aisle.
Oh, amazing, amazing.
Yes.
And I mean, when you're putting together, there's, like you say, there's such a wealth of amazing work out there. Some of them may have been easier, like you say, revelations to include than others, but was it kind of always quite kind of a clear vision which excerpts you were going to put together to celebrate the 50 years? Or was it kind of like, oh, I don't want to leave that one out?
Oh, right. Well, it's a familial environment at Alvin Ailey. And I grew up as a child in the Alvin Ailey organization. My mother was a teacher at first, and then the scholarship director, and then director of the school for over 26 years. So I grew up with Alvin Ailey kind of wandering through the halls and checking on us as students in his socks. And so Sylvia Waters, was also a family friend. She had an apartment maybe four blocks away from my house. So she is really like family to me. And she was the previous artistic director. So when we first had a conversation, when I was first appointed, I asked her, I took her out to lunch and asked her about programming. And she told me that it needs to be a very personal kind of sharing and offering for the audiences, that you really share with them the works that move you and are also part of your identity. So all of these works have a very kind of specific connection to my artistry and who I am as a human being. So a lot of the ones like The Hunt for me is very much connected to the way I like to move as a woman. I had this kind of ferocity, and I think also having an all-female cast, to see women move with the same kind of aggressive kind of nature that men have been known to have over years is really important for us to say now. My mother was a Martha Graham dancer, and the ferocity and the feminism behind that work was really an influence on me growing up as a young girl. So that is a kind of my personal connection to something like The Hunt. And then, of course, Freedom Series is my work, that I wanted to really create these pieces. Was like an introduction to the company. So I really got to know them, and I employ improvisation into the work. So it's some choreography, but there's structured improvisation so that the dancers can really pour who they are, their identity, and their expression into the work. So that was really important in terms of determining the new vision for the company, which is like improvisation and that kind of composition is very indicative of contemporary language right now.
Yeah.
So it really, for me, also kind of marks this moment in time in terms of its dance language. And then, of course, like I said, Enemy and the Figure, William Forsythe's work, for me is something I danced it. I saw William Forsythe's work as a young dancer, and I knew it was meant for me. And I fought to kind of get into the company, and I really have a connection to his approach to the work, and it brought me a real freedom in a different way. It really brought me to a different way that my training had, which was very technical, to really thinking creatively and outside of the box. So it's really important that that work exists. And then, of course, Revelations just has to be there. Yes. Because it is the source of everything for Ailey too. And I think we need to continue that tradition, because the representation that we have centering the African American culture has changed people's lives immeasurably for decades.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much goes into it. And you mentioned obviously the vision there of Ailey 2 and what it is and why it's there and what it tries to achieve. And as well as obviously putting on these shows, you've got like you've mentioned, this immense training ground for emerging choreographers and dancers, but you also have these community outreach programs as well, don't you? So can you tell us a little bit more about what they involve?
Yes, outreach is a big part of Ailey too. We not only we teach dance workshops and master classes with schools and community groups, and these on-stage workshops give budding dancers and participants a unique opportunity to learn from, these young kind of emerging world-class training performers. We also have, not only do we have workshops and teach and classes, and they can learn a little bit. We do these mashups and these hybrid choreographies that the Ailey 2 dancers teach them a little bit of our repertoire. So when they come to see us in the theater, they get to see the works that they've been learning in the classes and the workshops, so they can almost feel like they're dancing on the stage with the dancers, which is really exciting. We've also opened up some of our classes, so we have some of the audience come watch us, watch our classes, and there are also special projects that we have. We have like curtain raiser performances that are being partnered here in the UK. So there's so many opportunities for local community members to join Ailey 2. And that was part of Alvin's vision, is bringing dance to the people. So that is really important that we keep the outreach going as a part of his original mission.
It sounds incredible. I mean, even just saying that then, because obviously there's so many people out there who love dance who aren't necessarily built in the correct way to make it a career. But why should they then not be able to experience it in the ways that you've just explained? That's fantastic.
That's right. Well, I think, really the basis of Alvin's mission is community-based.
Yeah.
And it's all about elevating our world, our society, inclusivity, and invitation to do what you love.
Yeah.
And to ignite that flame that lives within you, and to inspire freedom and full expression as a human being. So if you take class just for the enjoyment of it, think about how that can open up your life and help you express yourself in other ways. I've had people come backstage to performances and tell us that they've made changes in their life because they've seen the performance and been inspired and felt like the courage from being able to dance again, or find something within themselves that they've been inhibiting for a while. So dance is not only about being kind of the performers out on the stage, but unlocking this sense of self-expression that lives within each one of us. And that's what makes Ailey so special.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I love you. I absolutely love you. I love what you're saying.
Yeah, I love you too. Yes.
It's incredible. And talking of being inspirational, I mean, the career and the things that you have done, I was exhausted trying to remember them all.
I'm tired too. It's nice to be able to sit down for a bit and like watch and coach. And I will tell you, it's easier on my body.
Well, but honestly, like you say, you mentioned earlier, you've toured Europe. I mean, you've worked with designers like Versace and Issey Miyake.
Oh, yes.
You've danced on Broadway. You've sung. You've produced your own albums. You've written plays. I mean, there's so much. Is there anything left that you haven't achieved that you still want to do?
Oh no, I'm living this is the ideal. I mean, coming back home, and this job is one of the most kind of cherished honors I could receive. I think also I'm a mother, so this for me it's just kind of feeding my life so directly, being able to nurture these young dancers and really see their progress. I mean, I'm getting emotional even talking to you, to say how powerful it is to help and nurture others. And to see them make progress. I just had breakfast with one of the dancers this morning who's just dancing so beautifully. And we talked about last year and a moment that they really were in crisis, like a person they could not break through. And to see them, I remember sitting down, having breakfast with them and talking through, giving advice and notes. And they are just dancing so beautifully this season, and it's just on a level that I mean, anyone that they work for after this is going to be so thrilled to work with them. And that process, to see that development, to see that empowerment, especially for these young kind of unrepresented voices.
Yeah.
It really affirms the important work that was started in the civil rights movement. That to be a part of that it's really an honor, and it makes the work even more palpable and important.
And one of the other things you have done to enrich that is, of course, the Francesca Harper nonprofit dance company as well. So tell us all about that.
Well, what's interesting is that I started my company a while ago, and I think I wouldn't be here if I had not, when I was interviewing and applying for the job, that company and that experience, I had about 15 years, really is a part of what I pour into Ailey too now.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of the dancers that I've worked with. Actually, it's very funny. A lot of the dancers that I worked with in my company are actually from Alvin Ailey. They were trained in the school. So, I mean, I've had such a strong relationship with Ailey that I've just been kind of picking dancers for projects and various things. They come to teach the Ailey 2 dancers now and, help me with choreography. So there's really, like, as I said, like the Ailey connection and that family that we establish, it just kind of starts to penetrate and out into the world, and helps develop more projects. And we continue to create these satellite works and projects. And, we're starting to expand and spread the mission that really is also about bringing it back to the community. So, it's like cyclical now, and it's really become full circle. That it's not only starts in the studio, but then it goes out into internationally to different stages and different projects, and then comes back again to reconvene at the Ailey School and the Ailey organization.
And it goes to show that that's why the arts is so, so important. It isn't
Yes.
just about doing something on a stage, like you've really expressed throughout our chat. It is so much more. It's a way of life. It helps turn you into who you are, and it feeds, and like you say, it becomes a circle where people then go out and help others. It's incredible.
Well, what's interesting, we had a Q&A after one of our performances yesterday, and I had a conversation with the dancers, and yesterday, and we talked about global citizenship, which really, I think, is, like I said, at the mission of the work that we do with Ailey, at the Ailey organization, that really stems from the civil rights movement, and this idea of it's not only about ourselves, but it's about the greater good of the world, and and there's the universal aspect to the work. Because even though, we center the African, or Alvin centers the African American experience, we are celebrated. We invite all cultures into the Ailey organization and into the Ailey world. So we have a very diverse company, which was also what Alvin had, representation from all over the world, kind of celebrating, our experiences. So that, like you said, that global citizenship, and really kind of inviting others and collecting a wide variety of cultures and people is a part of the mission. And so I think what a gift now it is to remind these dancers that they're not only artists, but they are also citizens of the world. And that is also very intrinsic and founded in the mission, the work that we've done. I think that's what's kept me connected to the Ailey organization all of these years.
The word that just keeps going through my mind is, well, 2 words, is just beautiful and peace. I just keep getting those 2 words going through my mind.
Finding peace within yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I think that's right. I mean, it really is, when I think we talk about Alvin and, creating dances for the people, it is really, there's another quote that he used to talk about, that he wanted to hold up a mirror to the audience so that they could see how beautiful they were. And so when you say that to me, kind of the themes of self-acceptance and self-love, especially I think if you think of what African Americans have encountered in terms of inequity and injustice, for him to create his blood memories and create that representation and invite everyone to come experience that kind of generosity is so powerful. But it really was, I think you're absolutely right, so that the dancers could understand the beauty that lives within themselves, share that with the audiences, and then again hold up that mirror so that they could reflect and see this diverse group of people, so that they could see themselves somewhere and understand the beauty and the peace and the self-acceptance that lives within them
It's
as audience
stunning.
members.
Yeah, it's stunning. And so for anyone who thinks that they've got plans in the Salford or Manchester area, on the 13th or 14th, tell them why. I mean, I think you already have done, but just as a final, why they need to cancel all of those plans and come along to the Lowry.
You really need to cancel all of your plans and come to the Lowry, because this is important work, and it will move you. It will inspire you. It will excite you. It will leave you on the edge of your seat. And it will also bring you a sense of home and peace and beauty.
I feel so tranquil. Thank you so, so much, Francesca.
Of course, this is wonderful. I tell you, it's been a wonderful conversation, and it just gives me such inspiration and momentum for my day. I'm going to go work out now. No,
brilliant. Oh, well, thank you so much. And we cannot wait to have the company come along on the 13th and the 14th to the Lowry. Thank you so much for your generosity and your time today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for the conversation, Karen. It's really been great.
Thank you. All the best. Take care.